Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Saturday.
I love the no kings thing because if its very existence proves that it's not necessary. You know, if this was a king-led country, you wouldn't be able to have your no kings protests.
Yeah.
I mean, who are you protesting? Spain? Denmark? Cambodia, Dana? They have a king. You look at Kathy Griffin and you wonder, how can they not see what this...
Wow, the No Kings protest is tomorrow. And by the grace of God, it is finally Friday. Welcome to the show. That's Greg Gutfeld doing the obvious, stating the obvious about the No Kings protest tomorrow. Another pointless temper tantrum by the Democrat Party. I was signing off on this Facebook, this guy who I obviously have as a Facebook friend. He was like, I'll see you tomorrow, and has a picture of Donald Trump, dressed up like a king. And I'm like, if he was a king, you wouldn't be able to have the protest, you moron. But anyway, whatever. Who cares? Honestly, go throw your another temper tantrum. I mean, 6 months ago, Elon Musk was a Nazi. Apparently, he's not a Nazi anymore, or maybe it was all just a bunch of crap, and you guys are sheep who listen to the words of the idiots in charge. Whenever they spew something nonsensical, you just go, okay, I'm going to go out and have a march. I'm going to go out because Donald Trump is a king. Oh, really? What's he doing that's king? Like, what is he doing that is like a king? Well, he's ruling like a king is what he's doing. Yeah, he's ruling like a king. Really, honestly, no, not at all, not one little bit. I did a big old Substack piece today. And occasionally, I've been really kind of kicking in with the Substack thing. I've been enjoying the writing. I was so busy, and I don't know, the last year or so has been kind of a B word, if you know what I mean. And I just put together a couple of things here about Donald Trump, what he's done so far. Trump closed the border immediately, despite the caterwauling of Democrats, subsequent violence and legal lawfare to deport illegals. Trump had made gigantic moves to lower the price of prescription medication and IVF yesterday. Do you guys ever try to pay for IVF? My wife, now ex-wife, and I did for a while, and those shots are damn expensive and generally are not covered by insurance. So instead of aborting babies, Donald Trump and his administration are saying, hey, how about have some? I know, it's crazy, right? Let's see what here. Trump has brought peace to 7 international conflicts, has leveled inflation, created an environment where blue-collar wages have increased faster than the rate of inflation. Trump has absolutely destroyed the leftist media industrial complex. He's destroyed the political impact of the Hollywood left and late night. He's destroyed the Democrat Party's ability to rig elections with mail-in voting and gerrymandering to some degree. Let's see, he brought down violent crime nationally by 20% during the summer of 2020, with even more gigantic and historic reductions in D.C. and Memphis, inspired and invigorated the military, recruitment, and pride in the service of military career. Destroyed the influence of Iran and Middle Eastern terror funding train, massively reduced the waste, fraud, and abuse of the deep state, exposed rot and corruption in the FBI, DOJ, and the CIA, put people in place to hunt down those who weaponize the agencies against their political opponents and the American people, destroyed the White House press corps' ability to control the narrative and dominate the conversation. I go on and on. Literally, there's even more there. And then I go through a list of things that the Democrats have done that are the exact opposite of common sense, because the Democrat Party is out of their friggin' minds. If you go to my Substack page, it's under The Rob Carson Show. The title of the piece is called "The Midterms Are No Longer a Fait Accompli," which means that usually the opposition party does well in the midterms. The Democrat Party is not going to do well in the midterms because they're freaking insane. And this is another example this weekend, this pointless, foolish, idiotic waste of time, the No Kings protest, even though what I just listed there are profound changes toward freedom and prosperity in America. And the Democrats only hate because they suck at leadership and they've done nothing for ever. The Democrat Party, pretty much ever. Never has done anything. But anyway, if you want to check out my Substack, that would be great. Here's Caroline Levitt talking about the constituency of the Democrats. Now, last night they had a big Charlie Kirk rally, TPUSA rally. Thousands of people. I think it was the University of Oklahoma, talking about God, talking about faith, talking about family, talking about freedom, and all of that. And here is Caroline Levitt with who the Democrats are appealing to.
Proved that the Democrat Party's main constituency are made up of Hamas terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals. That is who the Democrat Party is catering to. Not the Trump administration and not the White House and not the Republican Party, who is standing up for law-abiding Americans, not just across the country, but around the world.
And I'm just asking that you be vigilant, you be patient, and you overwhelm the left with joy and patriotism. Because honestly, they are just so foolish right now, and they are disappearing into the dustbin of history. I wrote that at the very end of the piece today. You can find it here. I thought it was a pretty nice wrap-up. I said here at the very end of the piece, on Substack today, the left has no defense when they're mocked, ridiculed, and exposed for their ridiculous antics and policies. Donald Trump plays the media like a fiddle and does it all with a wink and a nod. The 80% of the 80-20 split are made up of Democrats and Republicans. 20% are those who are radical, spiteful, violent, vitriolic, hateful, untruthful. They are the radical left. They once commanded the narrative and forced fundamental Marxist change on America, attacking its founding. The class of 1968's moist dream is on life support in liberal bastions. The 20% will shrink, and the remaining revolutionaries will become speed bumps on our road to history. That's a pretty good writer there. That's pretty good. I might put that in the book. I'm working on this book called Hillbillies, Homeboys, and Hebrews, How We Came Together to Save America. So there you go. Hey, did you hear the other good news? John Bolton is in a whole lot of trouble. John Bolton is in a whole lot of trouble. He's a weasel. Now, John Bolton used to shoot his mouth off about Donald Trump and say that, Donald Trump should go to jail and everything. Here is John Bolton, I believe it was like last year or the year before.
We'll have to prove it. Then he has committed very serious crimes. This is a devastating indictment. I speak here as an alumnus of the Justice Department myself.
One of the many indictments of Donald Trump that were based on nothing. This one, of course, being going after him for having classified documents he should have had. He should have had them. It was not illegal for them to have them, but of course it was an attempt to try to put him in jail so he couldn't be elected again.
Because not only is it powerful, it's very narrowly tailored. They didn't throw everything up against the wall to see what would stick. This really is a rifle shot, and I think it should be the end of Donald Trump's political career.
Well, that didn't happen, did it, Johnny boy? It did not happen at all. No. John Bolton, former National Security Advisor, indicted Thursday by a federal grand jury in Maryland on charges of mishandling classified information. He's the third high-profile Trump foe in recent weeks to be criminally charged because they did a lot of stuff that's illegal, you see. That's the reason. The 26-page indictment in the U.S. District Court in Greenbelt charged the Republican with 8 counts of transmission of national defense information, 10 counts of retention of national defense information. Bolton allegedly shared classified information with 2 relatives while he was Trump's national security advisor. Those 2 people, by the way, were his daughter and his wife. The charges came nearly 2 months after FBI agents raided Bolton's home in Washington, D.C. Let's see what else here. We got Bolton faces a maximum possible sentence of 10 years in prison on each count if convicted, but federal sentencing guidelines would recommend a punishment that would be much less severe. I hope he goes to jail for life. Just life. It's not going to be that long. He's 76 years old. The indictment says Bolton, from 2018 until August 2025, shared more than 1,000 pages of his day-to-day activities with the National Security Advisor, including information relating to the national defense, which was classified up to the top secret SCI, sensitive compartmented information, with 2 unauthorized individuals who were relatives of his. And then also, the information got hacked. It got hacked in 2021. A representative of Bolton told the FBI that a cyber hacker believed to be associated with Iran hacked Bolton's personal email account, according to the indictment. He is in a whole lot of trouble. Here is Trey Gowdy. Trey Gowdy, kind of a rhino, but he kind of knows law a little bit. Here's what he has to say about about John Bolton.
Well, I cannot tell you and your viewers how serious the information.
This is going to put a smile on your face, though, by the way. This is going to put a big smile on your face.
That John Bolton both disseminated to his wife and daughter.
Yep.
That's who the unindicted co-conspirators are, and retained. It is the gravest secrets that this country has. It's the kind of information that gets people...
It's espionage.
...people killed. Millions of documents over years, and he's out there lecturing, whether it's Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, or anyone else. There are so many clips in this indictment of him having notice and knowledge of how to handle material. All the while he was breaking it. I cannot stress to you the job that Kash Patel and John Lee Ratcliffe did in bringing this case to indictment. The gravest possible danger could have been done to this country, and may well have been done because Iran accessed his email at his home. This is very, very serious.
Yeah, this is really, really cool for a guy who did what he said Donald Trump did, except for he wasn't entitled to the information, and he put the country's national security in danger. And here's something going to put a big smile on your face on this glorious Friday. Trey Gowdy saying what he thinks going to happen to John Bolton.
He is convicted, and he spends the remainder of his natural life in the custody of the Federal Bureau of Prisons.
There you go. Isn't that great? Isn't that awesome? You know, this isn't about retribution. If you want to call it that, you can. It's about accountability. And hell is coming after 9 years of abuses and usurpations against Donald Trump and us. It is really glorious. It is a great way to start the day, isn't it? Now, I've got more on this coming up. I got some good news about having babies. If you're thinking about having babies, that's pretty awesome. We got Tony Kinnett's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Always awesome. Later in the show, we've got Mary Walter and are you ready? Dinesh D'Souza today on the show. I know it's amazing. It's a Friday. This is the Rob Carson Show, and we'll be back in a minute with Tony Kinnett.
Trader for sale or rent. To jail, John Bolton will be sent. Indicted yesterday. Would like to see him put away. In court he will be tried. The stuff he took was classified. He's a man who's got no morals. To jail he will go. 10 years for every count. Hope he does the full amount. More charges on the way for Pencil Neck and for Chris Ray. John Brennan Clapper too. Lindsay's coming after you. I'm so glad they indicted Bolton. Away he will go. Trader for sale or rent. John betrayed the president. Now he will have to pay those indictments.
On street protesters we've had our fill, but Randy Fine has a bill, says move them on over. Run them all over. Run over protesters blocking all our roads. The Thump Thump Bill is what it's called. I'm sure the left will be appalled, but move them on over. Run them all over. Step on the gas if they won't step aside. Sure, it might leave a dent, but make them a hood ornament. Run them all over. Thump them all over. If they block our streets, they'll get what they deserve.
Law enforcement isn't to prevent crime. Law enforcement solves crime, not necessarily prevent them from happening.
Buffoon. Jasmine, she is a buffoon. District no longer exists. Out of the Congress real soon. I'll be glad when she's gone from D.C. No, Jasmine, it will be pure bliss. I know that this may not sound PC. That mouth on her I will not miss. Buffoon. Jasmine is a total fake. Her ghetto accent's not real. How much more can we take? Buffoon. She was drawn out of her seat. Will be in Congress no longer. Her leaving will be a treat.
Come on! For Generation X, another part of your childhood passed away. Ace Frehley, 74 years old, irreplaceable guitarist for the band Kiss, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. I was not a member of the Kiss Army. I was like in 4th grade. I remember Darren Shriver was. He was in 4th grade with me. He was a Kiss Army guy. Pretty good band. More importantly, a cultural phenomenon. If you were alive at this point, you'll never experience things like Kiss, the rise of Kiss, the band, the phenom, the stage presence, the absolute originality of it. Pretty good band. I never was that crazy about their music. I mean, there are people who are better at their playing their instruments and whatnot, but damn, I mean, what a phenomenon. And they came back. And they got rid of the makeup. Then they realized, oh, wow, we're just kind of a bunch of kind of doofy Jewish guys. Maybe we put the makeup back on. You know what Gene Simmons' name is? I believe it's Chaim Vitz. I think that's his name. Yeah. But, it doesn't even matter. They rocked. They absolutely rocked. Kiss rocked. And they still rock. Ace Frehley, by the way, 74 years old. He died of a brain bleed. He fell down, I guess. And he's getting tributes from around the world, including one of my favorite guitarists, Tom Morello, Rage Against the Machine, who's a flaming lib, but whatever, he's a great guitarist, one of the most influential in the history of rock. My first guitar hero, Ace Frehley, has passed away. The legendary Space Ace Frehley inspired generations to love rock and roll and love rock and roll guitar playing. And if you ever caught the bug when you're particularly in high school, and I'm just speaking to the boys here because I was one of those boys, and you catch that guitar bug and you just want to play rock. It's just, there's something about it. There's nothing better. There's only one greater drive in a teenage boy's life. And I'm not talking about getting a car. Is playing guitar, man. So Ace Frehley, God bless him, man. It was amazing. Amazing. Kiss is amazing. Anyway, a little bit of sad news today, but in an otherwise great news day, John Bolton indicted for mishandling classified documents and all of that. The White House told him apparently in 2020 not to publish this book that he wrote, but he published it anyway. Though a federal judge declined an order that Bolton's book, of which thousands of copies had been printed and shipped before going to sale, be pulped, the judge also ruled that Bolton had likely compromised national security. There was a matter. This isn't Donald Trump doing this. This case was around in 2020. He did this, and the Biden administration dropped it. All that the Trump administration is doing is bringing it back up again. So he's in a lot of trouble. I hope he goes to jail for a very long time, because this is what he said about Donald Trump when they illegally raided at Mar-a-Lago.
Neither I nor anybody else not involved in the case knows what's in the documents yet. But I do know what kinds of documents were put in front of the president during my time, I'm sure during the entire 4 years of his term. And they did go to absolute, the most important secrets that the United States has, directly affecting national
all a bunch of crap, by the way.
Security, directly affecting the lives and safety of our service members and our civilian population.
Remember when I talked about how Donald Trump and we were tagged in like professional wrestlers going after the bad guys in the ring after years of abuses, and now we're coming in over the top rope with a folding chair? That's what Trump's doing now, and we're doing it too.
If he has anything like what the indictment alleges, and of course the government will have to prove it, then he has committed very serious crimes. This is a devastating indictment. I speak here as an alumnus of the Justice Department myself, because not only is it powerful, it's very narrowly tailored. They didn't.
Yeah, and it went nowhere because it was a bunch of crap. But you're going somewhere. You're going to a place called the Stony Lonesome. That's what it is, the Stony Lonesome. Here's Donald Trump talking about the indictment announcement yesterday.
President John Bolton was just indicted by a grand jury in Maryland. Do you have a reaction to that?
I didn't know that. You tell me for the first time, but I think he's, a bad person.
Yeah.
I think he's a
D word for Richard?
Bad guy. Yeah, he's a bad guy. It's too bad, but it's the way it goes.
Yeah, this is Georgetown law professor Jonathan Turley. I want to get over and meet Georgetown law professor Jonathan Turley. He's a pretty amazing guy. About what old Bolton is up against.
No, they are cut and dry. As a longtime criminal defense attorney, I got to tell you, 18 counts of this kind really concentrates the mind. Woo. Because the jurors tend to
That is a colonoscopy of law.
Look at this as a very simple question. Did he have classified information?
Yeah.
Did he mishandle it?
He did.
And two arguments will not work in that courtroom. One is that this is all old classified information. It doesn't matter if it's old or brand new. If it's still classified, you violate the statute. The other argument is that everyone does this, that this is, as Abby said, everyone...
Yeah, like mortgage fraud. Everybody does it.
Has diaries. Well, that's not going to fly either in that courtroom.
Nope.
That he's going to try just as Comey's going to try and James is going to try to bring up a vindictive prosecution claim.
Not going to work.
Generally, courts don't, and also a selective prosecution. So both of those. Generally, courts do not go for those.
No.
If you have a viable criminal case that comes out of a grand jury, they tend not to want to look at motivations. This indictment looks pretty serious.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty awesome. This is from Jim Gossett as the Prezi on the Rob Carson Show.
There's talk on the street. John Bolton's in trouble. Criminal charges, they are headed Bolton's way.
Yeah, payback is Pelosi.
Miss Halligan is doing a great job.
Yeah, she kicks butt.
A Bolton arrest, it could come most any day. Johnny's in trouble. There's a new gal in town.
Yeah, she's awesome too.
She's getting indictments. She'll bring him down.
Two federal officials tell NBC News that President Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, is expected to be charged with federal crimes soon.
Johnny's in trouble. Jim Comey, too.
Yeah, I know. They're going to share a bunk.
Along with Letitia.
Reopen Alcatraz. That's why we need to reopen Alcatraz for all of these people. I'm serious, absolutely serious about it. They're talking about reopening Alcatraz. These are the people who should go, all of the people who abuse the justice system to go after Donald Trump. It is spectacular. It is awesome. It is amazing. Oh, my goodness, what a glorious Friday. Tony Kinnett, the Daily Signal, always awesome. Guess what the Democrat Party is doing with John Fetterman, the only voice of reason in the party? I'll just say that there's no room for reason in the party. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson. You know, when I was a kid and I would ride in a car, I would get so car sick and so nauseous, my parents would have to carry me into the house. Recently, I went on a sailboat in Mexico and I got so motion sick, I was sick all day. Then I found Relief Band. If you get nauseous, you absolutely must get Relief Band. Relief Band is the original anti-nausea wristband that quickly relieves and effectively prevents nausea and vomiting associated with motion sickness, anxiety, migraines, hangovers, morning sickness, chemotherapy, and much more. Relief Band is legitimately a band you wear on your wrist to give you relief from nausea, and you can change the intensity to make it stronger or weaker. It's 100% drug-free, non-drowsy, works quickly before or after symptoms start, and has 0 side effects. Relief Band has sold over 1 million devices and is backed by thousands of 4-star and above reviews, making it a trusted choice for fast-acting, natural nausea relief. Right now, we've got an exclusive offer just for Rob Carson Show listeners. If you go to reliefband.com, use promo code Carson, you'll receive 20% off plus free shipping. So head to reliefband.com, use promo code Carson for 20% off plus free shipping.
No more kings.
We're going to elect a president.
No more kings.
He's going to do what the people want.
No more kings.
We're going to run things our way.
No more kings.
Nobody's going to tell us what to do.
Rocking and rolling, smishing and splashing over the horizon. What can it be? Looks like it's going to be a free country.
There you go. No more Kings protests this weekend. One of the most idiotic protests that the Democrats have come up with. Even dumber than the protests where they said that Elon Musk was most assuredly a Nazi. That was about 6-7 months ago. They're not doing those protests anymore, so I guess he's not a Nazi anymore. It's remarkable. It would be remarkable if it weren't so incredibly stupid. Joining us on the Newsmax Hotline is Tony Kinnett, daily caller, or daily signal, I should say. We use the other D word. And then also afternoon drive host, or I should say radio host on WIBC in lovely Indianapolis. How you doing today, sir?
I am fantastic, and I'm so sorry that the No Kings protests are going to be attended by all three of those people. I know it's going to get exciting.
It is just dumb, and they're protesting nothing, because nothing that Donald Trump has done has said king. And as Gutfeld said last night, the fact that they're able to have the protest today or tomorrow shows that Donald Trump isn't a king.
Well, again, they've actually had these No Kings protests before.
Yes.
They've tried this before, but they were saying that Elon wasn't a king.
Yes.
And then they were saying that Elon was actually the president. That didn't turn out to be true.
That's true.
And then apparently J.D. Vance was supposed to be getting rid of the president. That wasn't true. And then Republicans were trying to shut down the government. Now, well, that's the Democrats trying to keep the government shut.
Yes. Oh.
Now they're bragging about it. Now they're fighting amongst themselves. It just sounds like the not having a good time protest.
It is.
It's like bitter divorce, the protest.
Oh, my God. Yeah, spot on. But, you know, the Democrat Party is in a death spiral to hell. They really are. And did you hear what they're going to do? The only person who's starting to make sense in the Democrat Party, John Fetterman, who had a terrific town hall at Kennedy Center the other night here in D.C., where he said things like, I don't know, you shouldn't shut down the government, and other commonsensical things. The Democrat Party now wants to push him out in 2028.
Oh, I love that, because I called it.
Did you?
We called it
Yeah.
on the Rob Carson Show. We said this is the next guy they're going to shove off a building, because if you don't get out there and say important Democrat lines like, we need to make sure the air is drinkable, and Deloitte, the tax company, needs to stop setting the river in Cleveland on fire, then you need, I mean, goodness gracious. It's amazing the one guy they have. It's like, I don't know, kind of just like a normal white dude. That's Fetterman. He's just like a normal white dude. They didn't learn their lesson in 2024, so now they're like, take every normal white guy in the party and sacrifice him like a goat.
It's just anybody who has common sense. That's it. It's remarkable, and I don't want to push too hard against it, because I like them self-immolating. I really do, but my God, how out of touch are you? And Tony, you know, we had the 80-20 issues. I said last year, 80% of us believe the country's headed in the wrong direction. 80% of us can come together to save her. The Democrat parties are siding with the 20 on 80-20 issues, and right now 80% of the people feel we're in a political crisis. And what I'm seeing here is that Democrats are going to be leaving this party, and if they are staying with the party, they are leaving those ideas. And the 20%, these imbeciles, these insane people, are going to be a speed bump on our road to joy and happiness and patriotism and God.
Now, look, I know I've heard that same shtick, but in a more whiny tone from Nicole Wallace about the Supreme Court, maybe striking down the, racial voting districts in the South.
Yes.
And I thought immediately afterward of you, because you and I have said this would not be the first time that Democrats have been wiped out as a speed bump in the South.
Yeah.
In fact, the last time it was also over racial segregation, funnily enough.
Yes.
So I'm really looking forward to getting 15 seats in the House just by magical snap of the finger default.
Yes.
Well, I should say 15 plus for Republicans, 15 minus for Democrats.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe we can smuggle Jasmine Crockett in somehow anyway for entertainment.
Well, you know, I'm kind of excited about the testimony in front of the Supreme Court the other day, Ketanji Brown Jackson. I'm going to get one of my black friends. I'm just going to hang with my black friends from now on so we can use their handicap parking sticker and park wherever we want.
I heard Ketanji Brown Jackson was actually defending the wheelchair ramp in Minnesota so that no white people could use it.
I swear to God. Again, this woman, does it surprise you? Honestly, and if you, again, look at it from 30,000 feet, this woman was allowed to become a Supreme Court justice who she could not say what a woman is. And I know that sounds like a punchline, but my God, it's true. She could not say what a woman is. Does this surprise you?
She has now used some variation of the words "I don't understand" or "I just don't understand" more than any other member of the Supreme Court in United States history combined.
Yes. Combined. Unbelievable. I have something that's going to put a smile on your face because you got a great sense of humor. You got a great sense of humor. And this is a line from Trey Gowdy last night talking about what's going to happen to John also known as Redneck MacGyver. He always comes down on me. Kind of arrogant when you say you were right about stuff. And I said to him, Rush Limbaugh wrote a book called See, I Told You So.
I'm from the Midwest. We believe in two things. Yes. Unhealthy portion sizes.
Yes.
Number two, scoreboard. Scoreboard.
Very, very large pork tenderloin sandwiches, too. Those are a big deal. Where the bun looks like a quarter in the middle of a pizza pan.
That's correct. How God intended it. We took German schnitzel. We made it better.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. What do you think about Bolton? I mean, he is in deep doo-doo, and I think what they got to do is they're talking about reopening Alcatraz just for the people who went after Donald Trump and abused the privilege of being in power to weaponize the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA, the DHS, and all of that.
Well, first of all, I think that he should have to spend at least 6 months in the Obama presidential library.
Yes.
Just so he has to suffer. I think that's just a good way to start. The second 6 months of his sentencing, watching The View. The third 6 months, giving reading lessons to Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Oh. Yeah.
So I've got a couple of creative ways here. I think we can really make the most out of this.
The Obama library, if you just put some tracks on it looked like one of those sand crawlers in Star Wars. Where the droids were. It looks a lot like that. You'd expect a trapdoor to come open and droids to come out for sale.
Not a bad motivator.
Yes. All right, so Tony, got a lot more stuff I want to get to on the other side of the break. If you would please hold, we got Tony Kinnett, Daily Signal on the phone. We'll be right back on this Friday on the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
And you're also going to hear from my opponent about text messages that I sent that I deeply, deeply regret. Let me be very clear. I am ashamed. I am embarrassed. And I'm sorry. I am sorry to Speaker Gilbert. I'm sorry to his family. I'm sorry to my family. And I'm sorry to every single Virginian. I cannot take back what I said.
Yeah.
But you have my word that I will always be accountable for my mistakes. And you also have my word that I will spend every waking moment fighting for you.
Yeah, that is Jay Jones. He wants to be the AG for the state of Virginia. And those text messages where he fantasized about murdering a man and his children would actually cause him not to pass a background check to work in the same department that he wants to run. Unbelievable last night, the debate. It looks like Miaris is pulling out ahead of this fool in the state of Virginia. Let's hope it trickles down and trickles up to lieutenant governor and, of course, to governor in the state as well. We've got Tony Kinnett, Daily Signal, also hosted WIBC Radio in lovely Indianapolis on the phone. Did you watch any of that debate last night?
I did, because, again, Virginia is a very special thing, especially to my story politically, because it was right before the Youngkin election in that debate with Terry McAuliffe that Terry famously said parents need to stay out of education. Right now, I'm in Orlando at the Moms for Liberty Joyful Warriors Summit, because here we have another major election in the country. The Virginia election is always the big tell for the next couple of years. And we have yet another guy who is so angry at the women and children that are just family members of conservative, to the point where he calls for their death, and he gets out there and says, I'm resigning. No, he says, I will hold myself accountable. No one cares if you hug yourself, dude. That's not anything that's worth its own salt.
Yes. And we've got another Karen running for Democrat governor in the state of Virginia.
Captain Suicide, yes.
I swear to God. And right now they've pivoted to her military service, flying a helicopter or whatever. And then Winsome Earl Sears is running against her. Right now, the race was within the margin of error, and she got 3 daughters, yet she's fine with boys showering with girls and competing with girls in sports. She is everything that Americans voted against in November, but they're trying this again. They're throwing it against the wall to see if it sticks in Virginia. Let's hope not.
Well, yeah, I mean, you saw this in her speech. You saw this in Jay Jones' speech. The only time that you actually get anything substantive from Democrats is when they get out and say, guys, we know what America really wants to hear. We don't like Donald Trump.
Exactly.
And everyone's like, yeah, we know you've told us. You're holding a whole protest to whine about it again.
Yes.
And there's no policy. There's no nothing. Again, the only policy she's proposed is that she wants to force doctors to give their patients suicide medication.
Yes.
My God.
Yeah. It is remarkable. Like I said, death spiral into hell. Now, listen, this is pretty cool. The Trump administration has laid off many Office of Population Affairs employees during the Democrat-led government shutdown. Now, this agency is overseen by the HHS, and during the Biden administration was all about issues like abortion, paying for abortions, and promoting sex changes for minors. Did you hear about this? For the time being, the office is being instructed to focus on infertility issues to combat the declining birth rate in the U.S. And on top of that, yesterday, Donald Trump is making in vitro fertilization affordable. It was not affordable when we were trying to have a baby about 15, 20 years ago. But I think this is kind of a way to, the shutdown of the government is allowing this to happen. B, they are firing a lot of these people in the Office of Population Affairs, which was meant to kill babies and change the genders of children. And now Donald Trump is making in vitro more affordable so we can have more babies. It's just so perfect.
I mean, of course. And again, when you look at the actual situation here, and you see how serious this is for Americans who do want to have children, actually reducing regulations and improving resources so that people who want to foster can, people who want to adopt can, people who want to, again, go through IVF can. Actually addressing that, I was told Trump was going to ban that. And instead, he's expanding access to it. That's actual reproductive health care. Yeah, and the in vitro is, isn't it strange? We managed to have to pay for abortions. They said they were never going to do it. We end up giving billions of dollars to Planned Parenthood to murder millions of babies, right, and all of this. And then you have to pay for your own in vitro. And in vitro is bloody expensive. We had to do the shots, and I think the shots were $1,500, just ridiculously expensive shots. And I remember, because I'm terrified of needles, my wife, I had to give her the shot, right? And I said, I don't know if I can do it. And I went upstairs and I came back down after I'd finally worked up all the courage to give her the shot. And she says, I just gave it to myself, you loser. The things that wives do. Now, of course, in the case of Obama and Big Mike, I would expect something like that. So, in all seriousness, though, again, we just keep getting what we voted for in this administration. And the polling shows, you even have Harry Ensign over on CNN pointing out, Americans are a lot more optimistic about what Republicans are offering because they're actually arguing it out in front of the American people instead of calling all black people disabled. It
is remarkable, and I predicted that this wave of patriotism and joy, and now a godly movement, has been put on light speed with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and these TPUSA rallies are bigger than they've ever been, and young people, Gen Zers, are turning away from sex and booze and turning to church and God and family, and it's sweeping around the world. It's going to be hitting Venezuela, and it's going to be hitting France, and it's going to be hitting England. And it's happening, and these guys, this Democrat Party, they're like dying like movie vampires, grabbing, clawing, trying to drag us into hell with them, and we're not going, Tony.
No, and that's the really encouraging part, because they expected we would have the support of fellow dying animals to reach out and to swipe and to claw and to bite, and instead they're finding themselves all alone because, again, they shivved anyone near them away.
Yep. It's glorious. So you're in Florida, then you'll be back. Awesome. Hope you have good weather down there and all of that. Where can people find your glorious work, my brother?
You can find all of my stuff on X at the Tonus, TheTonus. Find us on YouTube over at the Daily Signal, and pretty soon when I'm in D.C., on camera with Rob Carson.
Come on.
Somehow. We're going to make it happen.
We got to get those new lenses that filter out some of the handsomeness, or we'll just wreck the place. I mean, it'll be crazy. All right, man. Thanks for talking to me. Safe travels. God bless. Godspeed. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. He is so bloody good. I love it.
Life can be full of risks.
My son is going through IV right now, and they're paying $2,300 for the shots. Yeah,
if you're
it's freaking ridiculous. They're in the second round, and so far they've spent $46,000.
Right now.
Wow, BF05 high on Rumble. Yeah, it was very expensive. We had to do some shots. You know what's really funny? So we're trying to have my daughter, and we tried for 5 years. We tried for 5 years, prescription drugs. And I went in and did the, going to the booth with the cup. That was fun, and all of that. And then finally we moved to Washington, D.C., and we just decided, nobody's around.
Affordable health insurance
Why don't we just have
for everyone just like you
do it to have fun?
Free phone call away. So give us a shot right now.
800-659-7540.
No effort, no basal thermometer, no shot, just boom.
800-659-7540.
And now we have a daughter. It's spectacular. Spectacular. Who's on the deplorable dinosaur is watching? Game and Rage 599.5 says awesome news. Thanks on Justice. Moon Shadow is watching as well. Look at all you crazy people over there. Captra Kelly on this is all on the YouTube. Got all sorts of names there. Proud to be a Jew. Robert Myers, Dookie Bear, Round of Pony. You guys, all the regulars are on the Rumbly Roo, and then over on Facebook. Got new Della Pauline Conrad. You're new. I haven't seen you there before. Lisa Simmons. I think I saw you there yesterday. Getting some new names. As the show grows. My TV show, by the way, is Rob Carson's What in the World. It's on Sunday night. You'll have to watch it. This weekend is super good. Super good. I'm getting ready to do the break here. Hold on. We got something to come about here.
Don't miss Twin Brooks Furniture for incredible ideas at unbeatable value. Open Thursdays and Fridays 9 to 6 and Saturdays 8 to 4.
I got to listen to this.
See
where we are on the
Pennsylvania Dutch Market on York Road in Cockeysville.
Break. Hold on. There we go.
You're going to have about 3 minutes.
Okay. So we're going to get into the debates last night, probably next hour. The New York mayor's debate yesterday is pretty good. Of course, Zoran Mandami. They say he's going to win. You never know. I mean, I'm I don't know, optimistic to a fault. I don't know. I think he's probably going to win, unfortunately. And if that's the case, then New York's going to have to fall to some degree and then pick itself back up again. We will see. John Bolton in a lot of trouble, though. Here's Jamie Raskin from Maryland. He's all butthurt about this.
It's hard to know what to say about this other than there is no way that had Bolton not broken with Donald Trump, he would be facing these charges today. In other words, he's going to have a very strong claim of selective.
No, there were charges, and then they were dropped by the Biden administration.
And vindictive prosecution, because it's only being brought because he said that
it's not.
Trump was, melting before Vladimir Putin.
No, it's because he took a lot of classified documents and top secret documents, and some of them got hacked by the Iranians.
Was constantly mixing government business with.
Sucks to be you, doesn't it, Jamie? Sucks to be you, man named Jamie. I don't know, whatever. Hey, I want to mention something. I have a silver coin in my hand here. This is a special coin from Birch Gold that was worth about $48 last week. Went about $54 this week because the value of silver is going through the ceiling. Silver's at an all-time high. Gold is at an all-time high. Gold above $4,100 an ounce. I haven't checked today, but it's unheard of. And right now, with a qualifying purchase, every $5,000 purchase from Birch Gold, which is, by the way, an investment. It's not really a purchase. It's an investment in gold. It's taking your money and moving it into gold. Steal your money. It's just gold. See what it did there? Yeah. So you'll get one of these free patriotic silver rounds, 1 troy ounce of precious silver, which is going up in value dramatically. Gold up over 40% since the beginning of the year. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA and physical gold. If your investments are underperforming, gold is not. It would be a good idea to get some gold. A+ rating for the BBB. For information, text my name, Rob, to 989898. Rob to 989898. You'll be eligible with qualifying purchases for these silver rounds. They're absolutely gorgeous. I'm hanging on to mine. Carry it with me everywhere I go in this little velvet pouch they gave me, which is pretty cool. Hour number 2 of the show is coming up. Mary Walter joins us, and we'll talk about the debates last night, among other things. New comedy from Jim Gossett as well on the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
Hold it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
And by the grace of God, it is finally Friday. Welcome to hour number 2 of the show. Mary Walter is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. We got a lot of really good stories we're going to cover with her. One, this story of parents in trouble for allowing a 13-year-old relative to watch their kid. And so it kind of relates to children losing their independence because parents are so overzealous. We're part of I'm part of the last analog generation, Generation X. We were the last generation with skinned knees, who didn't have cell phones and didn't wear sunscreen and bike helmets, by the way. And we turned out. I hate this. When we turned out pretty darn well. Yes. You will become your parents too. You Gen Zers, you're going to sound just like me one day. You really will. Trust me. You're going to catch yourself and you go, "Oh my God, I can't believe I just said that." You'll be sitting there and all of a sudden you'll say, "These kids nowadays." You'll go, "What the way? How did I say that? These kids nowadays? What? My dad used to say that." It's going to happen to you. But, we didn't wear sunscreen and bike helmets, and we had skinned knees, and we rode big wheels, and we had Tonka trucks that were made, and they had metal edges. And it's crazy. It's crazy. We had fireworks, and we played with BB guns. Roger Nielsen lost his eye up the road, but, this will happen. We had bottle rocket fights, for God's sake. Dirt clod fights. You ever had a dirt clod fight? I bet you most Gen Zers are like, "What the hell is a dirt clod?" A dirt clod is a ball of hard-packed dirt. We used to pretend they were grenades, and we throw them at each other. I did some stupid crap. I did Evel Knievel crap on my Schwinn Stingray. My brother would lay down on the ground, and we put a piece of plywood on a log, and then I'd roll over it and try to jump over it. And sorry, Rick, I missed it. I didn't quite make it over your body there with the bike. It was fun. Oh, my God, we had so much fun doing really stupid crap. I was thinking this last night. Because, fireworks, I was a pyro when I was a kid in a very bad way. Trust me on this. And I got a silver salute, which is effectively an eighth of a stick of dynamite. It's like 3 M80s, and M80s are devastating, right? And I built a class project out of popsicle sticks for, I think it was in 8th grade. And I built like a replica of the bridge over the River Kwai, and I used like 1,500 popsicle sticks. And I put it out, and I built this river in our sandbox. We had a sandbox. I lived on a farm with a lot of cats. It wasn't a very pleasant experience. I'll just tell you that. I was playing in a very large litter box. Anyway, so into the river, and I put the 1,500 popsicle stick bridge that I had spent a week building for a class project, and I put the silver salute. I never had a silver salute. I coveted this silver salute for like a month, and I put it there, and I backed away about 30 feet, and I plugged my ears, and I watched the fuse doing the smoke, and then all of a sudden I just saw a brilliant flash, and a breeze flew past me, and then a popsicle stick shreds from the sky for like 3 minutes. It was fantastic. Oh my God. Anyway, I'm reminiscing. I'm reminiscing here is what I'm doing. So much to get to. Oh, did you hear about J.B. Pritzker? J.B. Pritzker, nothing sleazy about this guy. No. He just had to report last week on his taxes that he won $1.4 million at a casino playing blackjack. Other than that, he's a completely, on the up and up guy, winning $1.4 million playing blackjack at a casino. There's only one kind of person that wins $1.4 million at blackjack, and that's somebody who plays a bleep ton of blackjack in casinos, among other things. But here he is explaining it. He said he's going to give it to charity, even though he hasn't.
Obviously, and I've explained this, or at least we did in a statement, that I went on vacation with my wife, with some friends.
Yeah. And who hasn't just won $1.4 million on vacation with your friends playing blackjack?
Incredibly lucky. You have to be to end up ahead, frankly, going to a casino anywhere.
It was a double loss for the casino because they lost nearly that much on the all-you-can-eat buffet for this guy.
It was in Las Vegas, and I like to play cards, and so that I founded a charitable poker match here in Chicago called the Chicago Poker Challenge that raises millions, has raised millions of dollars.
That's great. Well, let's get back to the Vegas thing.
The Holocaust
That's
Museum.
great. That's awesome.
And
that's how you funded the Holocaust Museum. Okay.
Particularly to stand up for civil rights. That's much of what the
Holocaust here's distracting now.
Museum does.
Okay.
And so, anyway, that's all I can say about it. I mean, I had fun doing it. I encourage people to come to the state of Illinois and gamble in our casinos here.
Okay.
We have some really lovely places.
See what he's doing to distract there. He goes out to Vegas. He plays, obviously, gambles a hell of a lot. He's got a lot of money from his family and all of that. And then he tries to make it about his casino night for the Holocaust Museum in Chicago. Wow. What a piece of work he is. Jim Gossett.
J.B. claims won $1 million plus at blackjack. Most folks are saying that's a big fat lie. That's because J.B. is dishonest, not to mention a big fat guy. He ought to know when to diet. He ought to try it.
Yeah, he should.
Know when to walk away from the buffet. He never counts his carbs.
This is fat shaming.
When he's sitting at the table,
Dustin Hoffman
he'll be granted his own zip code most any day. He's got to try a salad that would be valid. Step on a treadmill, lay off the bread instead of taking lots of trips out to Las Vegas, stay in Illinois, and do your job instead.
Yeah, he's never going to be the president. He's not likable at all. He's not likable. He's a disgusting human being, and he has terrible, terrible policies, and he's caused lots and lots of death, a lot of prolonging of the killing spree that's been happening in Chicago for many, many years, and he's standing in the schoolhouse doors just like George Wallace did. Okay, so I did want to mention this. Yesterday's kind of a big deal, and, this is relatively recent in my memory. We had to go through fertility treatments. We were trying to have our daughter. We tried forever, right? Had no luck doing that, and then it was really weird because after buying all these shots and everything, spending all this money, going to a clinic and, having to separate. I go into one room, she goes to the other. That's a lot of fun. And all of that. And then finally we moved to Washington, D.C., and we just decided to recreationally enjoy the company of one another, and boom, pregnancy. It was it just kind of happened, so that was kind of cool. But it looks like Donald Trump's going to make the cost of an IVF cost a whole lot less. I definitely want to have that No Kings protest, because this is clearly the act of a king.
We're here today to announce a historic victory for American women, mothers, and families with the actions I will outline this afternoon.
Wait a minute. The Democrat Party says that the greatest thing you can do as a woman is to abort your baby.
Afternoon will dramatically slash the cost of IVF and the treatment and many of the most common fertility drugs for countless millions of Americans. Prices are going way down, way down.
I love it. I wonder how many kids were not born because people couldn't afford it. Because, it's prohibitive. It's prohibitive. Many have had to say, no, we just can't do it. We cannot have a baby. There is adoption. I get it. Absolutely. I'm adopted. My parents won the lottery. Yeah, I know. You're thinking, geez, gosh darn. What it would have been like to get Rob Carson as a son. I know what you're thinking. I know. You look at your children and you're like, oh, we had you. We could have had Rob Carson. I know. I get this all the time. I do. I get it all the time. But then there's this. The Trump administration laid off many of this Office of Population Affairs, kind of like USAID, kind of as scurrilous as USAID, during their Democrat-led shutdown. The move decimates an agency overseen by the HHS. Now, the OPA, which has existed for 50 years, deals with reproductive and adolescent health, like teen pregnancy, family planning, sterilization, as well as other population issues. But they've steered mostly into abortion and child sex changes, because that's how they are. It looks like a member of staff asked about their employment status, said they'd been shut out of their emails because they're being laid off, called a reduction in force. The HHS employees who received reduction in force notices were designated non-essential by their respective divisions. Reproductive health advocates, often a left-wing euphemism for abortion activists, told the Times scrapping the LPA would deprive women of critical services that allow them to decide whether and when they want to have children. In other words, kill the baby. Stop it. Everybody gets it now. You're not lying anymore. Just say, instead of calling the board, just say, kill the baby. It's okay. You know, we all get it. We're not cool with it. We want it to stop. But you might as well just tell the truth. Cat's out of the bag, as it were. For a limited time, the office has been instructed to focus on infertility issues to combat the declining birth rate in the U.S. So Donald Trump is ordering what's left of the agency to do the opposite of what the agency has been doing, which is promoting abortion and child sex changes, for God's sake. Learn code. How about that? How about you learn some code? This is good news for people trying to have kids. This on the heels of lowering drug costs so you don't have to drive to Mexico or Canada in an RV with your friends like so many elderly people have had to do the last few years. It's remarkable. But go ahead and have your No Kings protest and protest the goodness that's happening in the country, whatever you do. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Guys, it's Carson. You know what's the scariest part of October? Stop.
With talent on loan from God. And have my brain tied behind my back, to be fair.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we'll miss you oh so much.
You know, I'm the mayor of Realville here.
You cut down liberals like a knife, Rush.
El Rushball.
Forever you'll be number one.
I am Rush Limbaugh, household name.
America needed a hero
in all four corners of the world.
And then you came to our rescue.
The Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies.
Competition, you had zero. How could so much talent be inside of you?
And don't doubt it.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we listened every day.
That's it. It's not much more complicated than that.
You helped us get through all the strife, Rush. No one will ever take your place. Because Rush was the sunshine.
Surpassing all audience expectations every day behind this Golden EIB microphone.
Mom Donnie, a socialist. Mom Donnie, a communist. He's a fan of Hamas. His win will be New York's loss. He's an extremist, you bet, as New York's gonna get taxed like never before. When Mom Donnie is done, the city will run every grocery store. He'll defund the police and crime will increase as the murder rate begins to soar. Mom Donnie, anti-Jew, he despises Netanyahu. It is really a sin. New Yorkers voted him in.
they'll regret that they helped him win.
Friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
I love that. It makes me so happy. I'm just in a good mood today. I hope you're in a good mood today. I hope if not, there are two ways you can react to somebody in a good mood. You can go, shut up. Or you can go, hey, I'm in a good mood too. I hope that you're in a good mood as well. I went out last night. I went to Old Town Alexandria, King Street, not far from here, and had dinner at a nice Italian joint. It's called Il Porto. And I got an agent. Her name's Stephanie, and she's awesome. And it was just glorious. And then a bunch of high school kids were down there, and they were walking around wide-eyed and everything. And I said, where are you kids from? We're from Minnesota. And I'm like, oh, my God, it's so insane. No, I said, hey, I used to live there. And it was cool. It was cool. I love being so close to other people, and today it's a lovely day here, and I'm going to walk down to the Potomac River. It's a block away, and it's stunning. The Potomac River, if you haven't been here, it feels more like the ocean. It feels more like a bay than it does a river, because, I lived in Kansas City. Missouri River is the big muddy, dear Lord, you don't even, it's, you wouldn't want your body disposed of there. It's that ugly. It's just no boats on that. It's a piece of crap. But the Potomac's quite lovely. It's quite lovely. So I'm going to go there today and hang out and all of that. I do have a little winning update here. A little winning here, folks.
We love to win. Winning, so much winning. It's lots of winning.
Lots of winning.
It's oh so good.
Oh, you better have a No Kings protest because, oh my God, the Treasury unveiled the U.S. income statement for the just concluded fiscal year 2025, and it looks like total tax revenue, $543 billion, were the highest since April. 3.2% improvement from a year ago, pushed a 6-month-long moving average to a record high $496 billion. With the U.S. government spending only $346 billion, a sharp drop from the $689 billion in August, and dropping 25% from the $463 billion last September. Even more remarkable is that the 6-month moving average of government spending suddenly slumped from $604 billion, the highest since COVID, to $573 billion, the lowest since June, of 2024. It's kind of cool. And then also, this is going to do, if you're a Wall Street Journal reader, you're going to be bummed out, man, because collected record tariffs of $29.7 billion in September, which translated in a record $195 billion in tariff revenue for the fiscal year. And since Trump's tariffs regime was only active for 6 of the last 12 months, expected tariffs to deliver $350 billion in annual income every year. That's what they're saying, but probably much more than that, because that's the way it goes. So that's good news. You Wall Street Journal readers, you can step off the ledge again because you are wrong about everything. Everything. So last night, Jay Jones and Jason Miyares had a debate. It was not, not even a match. Jay Jones ended up looking like a moron. He, of course, fantasized about murdering the head of the House in GOP House in the state of Virginia, and murdering his children, and he wants to be the Attorney General. Here's a little exchange from the two of them.
Jason Miyares and his office has not lifted a single finger. We have to hold this administration accountable, and as your Attorney General, I will do just that.
For what exactly?
Jason hangs out with Donald Trump at MAGA rallies. I will see.
Here he goes, going after Donald Trump. Like this matters at all.
I will see Jason Miyares and Donald Trump in court as your next attorney general. Because that's what this job requires, and that's what this job needs.
So you're just going to go after Donald Trump. That's what you're going to do. So you're going to be the AG, and you're going to go after Donald Trump. For what? Because he did that for 9 years, and all of the cases were bull crap. So that's what you're going to do. Okay, all right. Good luck with that there. Good luck with that there, Jay.
In this moment, to protect Virginia.
The reality, I've sued both administrations, the Trump administration and the Biden administration. I have sued to protect our veterans and their GI benefits. I've always put Virginians first. But the reality is, Jay Jones is not a prosecutor. He is a politician. Yeah. He wants to turn this into a political office.
Yeah, he does. He does, absolutely, 100%. And that's what Joe Biden did with the DOJ. Well, whoever was in charge of Joe Biden's brain at the time. So there was that. Here is Jason Miyares shredding Jay Jones for his fantasizing in texts about murdering a political opponent and his family.
And I find it a little bit stunning that today you say one of the pillars of your public safety platform is protecting children. Were you protecting Jennifer's children when you said you wanted to see them die in their mother's arms? How can anybody who's ever worked in any of the crimes against children, all of the areas...
How about any, human being, let alone a father? Dear God.
...the federal and state local law department, how can they ever take you seriously, be the top prosecutor, knowing that you view that children should die to advance a political agenda? It's unconscionable, and if you were truly sorry, you would not be running for the...
Yeah, and he shouldn't be running for AG because his texting would have caused him to not pass a background test to work in the department he wants to be in charge of. So there's that. Yeah, there is that. Last night in New York, of course, there was another debate. Right now, pretty much the choice of the Democrat Party is a crap sandwich without the bread. And then Curtis Sliwa, I love Sliwa. Am I praying for a miracle? Hell yeah. Would I love to see Curtis Sliwa as the mayor? As unlikely as it appears to be? Hell yes. I mean, the guy that nobody has given up more, sacrificed more, including his life. I mean, numerous times was shot trying to make New York City safe, and nobody has more New York City flowing through his veins than Curtis Sliwa. He's given every ounce of his being to the city of New York, and here he is taking down the other two idiots.
Thank God I'm not a professional politician. We have the architect and we have the apprentice of no cash bail, which has been a disaster. Yeah. We have the architect and the apprentice here of Raise the Age. My own son was almost killed because of that in a gang attack. Yeah. We have the architect and we have the apprentice of Close Rikers Island, which would just release criminals in the street. Thank God I'm not a professional politician.
There you go. Here is Zoran Mandami being a full-blown socialist/communist about taxes and redistributing the wealth.
I would be the mayor of this entire city, and that means ensuring that the wealth that we generate in this city is also wealth that every single New Yorker can actually feel in their pockets. Because what we have today is a system that has generated the most wealth in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, where 1 in 4 of our neighbors are living in poverty. That's unacceptable. We can't look at 500,000 kids hungry every single night as just the cost of doing business in this city.
Why haven't you done it with the social welfare program, Democrats? You've been talking about it forever. You never fix a damn thing. And here's the thing. Maybe I'd like to live in Monte Carlo, but I can't afford to live in Monte Carlo. You can't expect the other people to pay so you can afford to live in Monte Carlo. I couldn't afford to live in New York either, so I wouldn't live in New York. How about that? Let's take a break and come back. Mary Walter joins us next on The Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson. When I was a kid and I would ride in a car, I would get so car sick and so nauseous, my parents would have to carry me into the house. Recently, I went on a sailboat in Mexico, and I got so motion sick, I was sick all day. Then I found Relief Band. If you get nauseous, you absolutely must get Relief Band. Relief Band is the original anti-nausea wristband that quickly relieves and effectively prevents nausea and vomiting associated with motion sickness, anxiety, migraines, hangovers, morning sickness, chemotherapy, and much more. Relief Band is legitimately a band you wear on your wrist to give you relief from nausea, and you can change the intensity to make it stronger or weaker. It's 100% drug-free, non-drowsy, works quickly before or after symptoms start, and has 0 side effects. Relief Band has sold over 1 million devices and is backed by thousands of 4-star and above reviews, making it a trusted choice for fast-acting, natural nausea relief. Right now, we've got an exclusive offer just for Rob Carson Show listeners. If you go to reliefband.com, use promo code Carson, you'll receive 20% off plus free shipping. So head to reliefband.com, use promo code Carson for 20% off plus free shipping.
Sending troops to Memphis, Tennessee, 'cause it looks like Memphis could use some help from me. The mayor has done nothing to put criminals away. Memphis needs our help, and they need it there today. The city's run by Democrats who defunded police. They can't do their jobs or maintain the peace. I'm sending in the guard. Memphis needs it bad. Their mayor, Paul Young, that guy's really sad. Voted the most dangerous place in the USA. Wouldn't want to live there. Wouldn't want to stay. Sending in the guard. That goal, it was mine. Democrats in Memphis, listen to them whine.
3,500 arrests ICE has made so far. How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals.
She's no KJP. More like Kaylee and Sarah. Her first press briefing was strong. She deals in facts, not liberal propaganda. We have been lied to for so long. And raise your hand. Be polite, or she won't call on you. Meet Caroline, kicking butt and taking names. She's not inclined to let reporters play their games. Sweet Caroline.
Come on. Everybody.
Every time I think that I'm the only one who's lonely, someone calls on me.
Brian, my producer in Baltimore, said we should use this song today to welcome Mary Walter. Hold on, here comes the hook.
And then along comes Mary.
Mary Walter, how you doing on this Friday?
I am so grooving in this crazy beat, man.
I know, right? I'm not into the late 60s kind of that sound, not so much into like Fifth Dimension and whatnot, but that actually kind of sounded good today, not too bad. So you live in the Northeast and New York City. Did you watch the debate last night in New York City for mayor?
I did not, unfortunately, because I was actually in Manhattan yesterday and got home and went to bed.
So, okay, got you. You were on Newsmax a good share of yesterday. You looked lovely, by the way. Looked lovely yesterday, so that was nice.
That is the joy of professional hair and makeup.
Oh,
Any woman understands exactly what I'm talking about.
I just, for me, for instance, I have to put a little makeup on for my TV show. And
no, you are naturally handsome.
Yeah, okay, whatever. And so I've never done makeup for myself, and I went to Target like a couple weeks ago, and I don't know what base is, right? So I had to ask women who are shopping there, listen, I do a TV thing. Can you tell me what I need here? And then I said, what shade should I go with? And I had like 3 women gathering around me giving me a consultation.
Oh my God, you loved it. You loved it.
I did. I loved it. I was like, oh, really? Maybe you should put it on. Yeah. Oh, yes. So anyway, I don't know. I'm hoping against hope that a miracle could happen in New York, but I'm afraid that Mandami's going to be the mayor. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be hard because this was a conversation in the green room yesterday because there were several New York politicians who were in and out, and I was there like all day yesterday. Yeah. And Mamdani's going to win, and it's insane. But when you understand that most New Yorkers, I think they have like a 13% turnout for elections.
Yeah.
So when you don't vote, most people just don't care. Clearly, they just don't care. The 1% who he wants to tax is something like 52%. They're going to move out.
Oh yeah.
They're going to go to wherever they want to go. They'll come to Jersey, of course. Yay. Pennsylvania, the Carolinas, Florida, where they usually have fled since COVID.
Yeah.
They'll just leave after either not voting or voting for Mamdani and leave.
Yeah.
The businesses that he wants to tax, I think I think they're also like something like 52%. He said he's matching New Jersey's tax rate.
Oh yeah.
They'll move out of the city confines.
Yep.
They'll either move to like Westchester or something like that, but they'll move out of the city confines, out of the 5 boroughs, or they'll go to New Jersey or elsewhere. They'll just pick up if they have the ability and leave.
Yeah. I remember Hannity left, Rush left. I mean, there's a point where you just got to realize that you return on your, theft. I won't call it an investment. The theft from you is just not worth it. And I don't know how you could love. I guess I understand loving New York, but no. There are a lot of other places you could live a very great quality of life without all the damn traffic and everything, and the pot smoke everywhere you go, and certainly a lot lower taxes. It's a damn shame, to be quite honest, because New York is an amazing experience.
It is, but I wonder if they just have to think so far down, as if de Blasio wasn't enough.
Oh, dear God.
Like, Dinkins was awful. And then the city got better because Giuliani came in, and Bloomberg kind of kept going what Giuliani had done.
Yeah.
So Bloomberg was pretty much along the lines of Giuliani, and it was great. I would be in the city. I'd walk through Penn Station to get I walked through Times Square to get to the last train at Penn Station at 1 a.m. Oh, yeah. Hold on, there's somebody at my door.
Uh-oh.
There would be somebody at my door. I have a big sign up. Don't ring the doorbell. But anyway, so
Amazon?
They just have to keep going through all this.
Yeah.
In order to find out that this just doesn't work.
No, the problem is you have a lot of young ignoramuses who have never been taught history properly, and they're willing to repeat it, even though it's failed a million times. We know this, dear God. Good news, though, it looks like maybe New Jersey is leaning toward Chitterelli. Chitterelli seems like a good guy, and Mikey Sherrill is, another Karen along the lines of the Karen running in Virginia. What do you think about that, Rafe?
I think Chitterelli definitely pulls it off, and I hope Winsome Earl-Sears does. I don't know if she will.
Yeah. Well, she's in the margin of error, and we're still a couple weeks out, so I have a good feeling about it. Plus, I have a feeling this Jay Jones scandal, and by the way, the debate last night in Virginia was just, he was shredded. He was just destroyed by Jason Miyares. And I have a feeling that race is going to trickle up and trickle down to lieutenant governor and governor. I really do, because it's a metaphor for the Democrat Party, I think, to some degree.
Yeah, you know what? I did not have a lot of hope. The Democrats are wonderful, and this was part of the conversation yesterday, too. Like, Republicans need to learn to ignore stuff as if it's no big deal the way Democrats do.
Yeah.
They need to do that. And Miyares, really came after Jay. Just so he's really sorry. What I was hoping Miyares would have said to him was like, you could be sorry for it, but the fact that, it is appalling. It is all those things you said, but what you didn't say, and is it's sick.
Yeah.
To even have the thought to wish death on an opponent and his children, you don't need forgiveness. You need counseling.
Oh, my God. Or an exorcism. One of the honestly, it's so, and he wants to, and the thing is, that series of texts would have disqualified him from a background check to work in his department.
Great point. It's so true. It's so true. But, Republicans, and can I just for one hot second go back to New York?
Yes.
In New York, you need Cuomo to drop out or Sliwa to drop out, and obviously Sliwa should drop out. He is polling at the lowest. The problem is that his supporters, even if he asks them to, will not galvanize behind Cuomo.
No.
And that's a problem.
Yeah.
So instead of biting the bullet and taking half a loaf of bread that you get with Cuomo, they'll go hungry and literally starve with Mamdani.
I don't know.
So the thought process, sometimes Republicans and more conservative-leaning voters are their own worst enemy.
Yeah, New York and California are like those kids who decide to, leave the family, go live with a biker. You kind of like, okay, just go ahead and just go ahead. You live your life. You come back to me. We'll welcome you back in the fold when you pull your head out of your butt. But honestly, ridiculous. Before we take the break here, and then I got a lot of other stuff to cover with you. What about this No Kings, the protest about nothing tomorrow nationwide? Your thoughts on the No Kings protest tomorrow?
It's so weird. We're the only country in which a authoritarian fascist dictator allows protests against him.
I know. And where Hitler actually brings peace to Israel.
Right.
He's the worst Nazi ever.
He's the worst Nazi. It's not even that, though. This is about Palestine. You're going to see Palestinian flags.
Oh, God, yeah.
This is what this is about. This has nothing to do with any of that. This is to create chaos. This is to create anarchy. And this is that people beg for more government intervention.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we got more stuff we want to get to, including this story about a mom being placed on a child abuse registry for letting a 13-year-old babysit, which is utterly ridiculous. It brings up questions about over-monitoring, over-protecting children. We'll cover that on the other side of the break with Mary Walter. This is the Rob Carson Show.
So it's kind of interesting if you take a step back here. We're having this big No Kings rally, right? The Democrats are very excited about it. But what is a king? Well, a king is somebody who believes that he has the right to rule regardless of what the people think. And what are we actually seeing right now in Washington with this government shutdown? We're seeing the Democrats who lost in sweeping historic fashion last November. They're saying, no, if you want to keep the government open, you must submit to our demands that you reverse the bill that you passed earlier this year.
Yeah, there are a million ways that Democrats are display their hypocrisy. As my friend Chris Plant likes to say, if it weren't for double standards, Democrats would have none at all. And Greg Gutfeld said it best, if Donald Trump were a king, they wouldn't be able to have the protest. So there are myriad ways you can make fun of these idiots for another nonsensical protest. 6 months ago, Elon Musk was a Nazi. Apparently, he's no longer a Nazi. So they got to come up with another target. It is extraordinary. Mary Walter on the Newsmax Hotline. It is remarkable. I asked Mike Carter, he works for Newsmax, if he wanted to go down to the No Kings the No Kings rally. He goes, oh, hell no. No, you're not going to accomplish anything. You're just going to have a bunch of people screaming at you, and it's best to just let them go.
Yeah, we laugh at them, I think, at our own peril.
I know that.
Before.
We've
seen this play before, and we can ignore them and everything. But this has played out in Cuba, in Korea, in China. This has played out all across the world.
Yes.
And,
But they're not on the ascension. Mary, they're not on the ascension. They're on the declination.
Of whom are you speaking?
The left, the radical left around the world is being driven into the pits of hell. That's the way it's going. Now, I'm not saying we need to take our foot off the gas, but at the same time, I'm not going to get too worked up about another weekend protest when all the other ones, they're looking like fools at this point.
Yes, no, I agree.
Yeah.
However, there's an asterisk for me. We can laugh at them, and we're saying they're on the decline, but we're going to have a 33-year-old Nepo baby with zero work experience and running the largest city in the country.
That is true.
And the largest economy in the country.
Yeah.
So we can laugh all we want, but that's very dangerous for this entire country.
We do have to put the, like Smokey Bear, you got to put the fire out completely. You said this article, and I was reading this yesterday. Pennsylvania Regional Independence for Children bill pushes back on overzealous child neglect laws. Tell us, for those who don't know about the story, tell them about the story.
Yeah, so what it is basically trying to bring common sense back to allowing children to have a life and to run free, and not constantly be under the thumb of their parents. And they cite different cases where, a mom who allowed her, I think it was 13-year-old child, watch the 1-year-old.
Yeah.
Babysit the 1-year-old, and so she got slapped with child abuse charges. And
oh my God!
A kid. One woman let a 10-year-old kid go to the store by himself, walk to the store by himself.
Yeah.
She got arrested.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I walked to the store for my dad's cigarettes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm 13 years old. I was getting paid to watch other people's children in the neighborhood. I would go to their house.
Yes.
When the parents were out to dinner or whatever, and watch 3 kids at the age of 13, and I made $1.
It's remarkable, and I was talking about earlier this morning some of the stupid crap that I did. I can't even begin to quantify the idiocy that I did. One time we took an inner tube and we set it on fire, and when the rubber is burning and it drips, it goes pew pew pew, and I started swinging it around, and I ended up splattering burning rubber on my brother, and it was still on fire. That's the kind of stupid crap we did.
Yes, well, no one said that, how old were you at the time? 13? No one said that
27
were the brightest products on the planet, you know what I mean? That's why I think that, all young boys between the ages of 10
we're stupid
and 25
yes
need to be accompanied by a female at all times.
We are stupid.
It's the girl who's going to go, I don't think this is a really good idea, you guys.
Did you have a baby Tender Love doll when you were a kid? My sister did. We made it into a squirt gun. Because you used to give it liquid, and then it had a little pee hole there, and we made it. You squeeze the stomach, and you can make it into a squirt gun. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, no, I did not have one of those. My father was very disappointed that I was not a boy, so I was raised with Matchbox cars and train sets and scat cars and all that stuff.
And you didn't change your gender. He didn't put you on puberty blockers.
I will say, if I had been a child at this, my parents would have had me because I was like, I hate being a girl. I'm not wearing a dress. I was in trees. I was building forts. I was playing war.
Yeah.
I had Tonka trucks.
It was fun, right? It was fun.
We were allowed to do it unsupervised. My parents, my nieces do not understand when I tell them that Grandma and Grandpa had no idea where we were.
Yeah.
From 10 o'clock in the morning, especially in the summer, where my mother told us to leave and don't come back until the back porch light was on or the front porch light was on. She put the two porch lights. Don't come back until we see that. We didn't. We weren't even allowed the house for water. We drank out of the hose, and we knew enough to run it for a little bit to get the hot water out before you got the cold water. We knew which berries you could eat in the woods and which you couldn't eat.
I know.
We somehow managed to survive it. And my mother just had faith that we would not kill ourselves and come home.
I remember my kids when they would, come in with a little scrape, and they had nothing. They never had stitches or anything, like we did when we were kids. And I would just say, rub it out. Just rub it out, okay? Honestly, wah. You're not bleeding all over the place. Put a Band-Aid on it and rub it out.
Yeah, well, and I read it as part of that article that I sent you.
Yes.
Talks about a study that was done that finds that, kids now, this generation especially coming up, and I was watching it yesterday with some of the younger people. She's like, I can't do that. I have a bad anxiety problem. I'm like, oh, my God.
Honestly.
Is because they never learned how to get out of jams or things like that on their own.
Exactly.
They never learned how to know, we knew as kids what time it was based on where the sun was in the sky because we were basically feral. Yes. And so we knew we had to get home.
That's true. That's perfect the way to put it. The last feral generation, Generation X. Oh, that's fantastic. Mary Walter, we got to run. Where can people find all of your work? And you've been on Newsmax a lot lately. Where can we see you?
On Newsmax.
Yes.
Actually, at 4:15 today, I'll be on N2 on, I think I'm on Todd Starnes' show today.
Cool.
Isn't that sad that I don't know where I am?
I know.
And then Monday I'll be on with Chris Upstate. I'll be between 5 and 6, as I always am. And then Tuesday is my podcast, Mary Walter Radio, live, 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube, Getter, and Rumble. And it's interactive. It's a live cast.
Yeah, it's fun.
And Rob has been on it.
Yeah.
And so I don't know who my guest is yet, though. I got to work on that.
All right, Mary, we appreciate you. Have a glorious weekend,
Thank
okay?
you so much.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. I used to do some stupid crap.
Hey guys, it's Carson.
Really
you know
stupid
what's the
crap. My
scariest part of
parents,
October?
we had a burn barrel.
Movies, it's being vulnerable
It was a drum. It was an oil drum.
Every day it
and
seems
we'd
there's a new
take
way
the
to trick
trash
you,
out
from
and
text
burn
scams
it.
to data breaches. It's hard to keep up.
And one time I
That's
took
why this
gas
Cyber
out
Scary
there.
Month. You need web
And I poured gas all over it. It was windy, so I got real close. And it went in my face, right? And I walked into the house. And everybody saw it inside. Everybody was watching me like, look what this idiot's going to do. And it burned my eyelashes, so they curled up, and they were like little black beads of hair on the end of them, and burned my eyebrows off. And I go in, and I'm trying to be, because I'm hiding, and I go over to the ice cube tray, and I get it, and one of my relatives starts laughing and goes, "It smells like burnt hair." They thought it was funny. Yeah, little blisters on my lips. You talk like this for a week. Yeah, that's how tough it was when I was growing up. Oh my God. I'm not saying I would have done that with my kids, but Deplorable Dinosaur. Real Chris is watching on YouTube. Let's see who else we got here.
You to join me every
a lot of
Sunday
new names watching on both YouTube and the Rumble and the Rubble. Robert Myers, how you doing? Hope you guys are having a good Friday. I'm going to walk down the Potomac today. It's so beautiful here.
Listen every week for the premium coupon code that will save you money.
It is so beautiful.
Start your day and
take it all in.
Dose of healthy information on Rescue Healthline.
Over on the Facebook, Carol Left, which is watching, and Regina.
Hi, this is Scott Jennings.
Regina
You've
Adams
seen me
Winters.
battle the
I hope
left
you guys
on
are having a great weekend.
CNN
My
for
TV show
years,
is Rob
and now
Carson's
you
What
can
in the
hear
World
me
is on
every
Sunday
weeknight
night
at
8:30.
9 as I continue to slay the
really
liberal
funny. Trust me.
narratives. Join me for
It is
unmatched
super
political
funny.
insight,
Super
high-impact
funny. We got
interviews,
another hour of the
and
show.
sharp-witted
Another hour of the
commentary
show ahead,
that
and I
cuts through the
gotta
noise.
come up with what I'm gonna
It's
talk
my
about here,
job to
right?
arm you with common sense and shape the national conversation. Don't miss the Scott Jennings
Here we
Show
go.
weeknights at 9. Talk
Here
Radio
we go. Hold
680
on. Time
WCBM
to talk.
and 99.9 FM in Harford County.
Here we go.
Can I bet 250 here?
Last night in New York, they had the debate, the candidates debate as it was, and this is Kayleigh McEnany's thoughts on it. It's pretty accurate.
Extremely poorly. She said that in rural communities, there are rivers on fire because of companies that are
she's talking about AOC here.
dumping pollution into them. One company she named is Deloitte. Deloitte is an accounting firm.
Yes,
Deloitte
yes.
does not dump chemicals
No.
into rivers.
No.
I do not fear AOC.
No.
There's a socialist takeover of the party. That is what I fear.
Yes.
AOC is not the embodiment of said socialist takeover. The embodiment of it is Zoran Mamdani. You're
Yeah.
exactly right that New York is running the Democratic Party. But we are a stone throw away from a socialist taking over the largest city in America.
Yes.
And it's frightening, Jesse. The government-run grocery stores we all know are going to fail, have demonstrably failed. That's scary.
Yep.
The charter schools he's going to shut down that serve underserved communities, that's scary. The gang database going away, crime in the streets, that's scary.
Yep.
But the scariest thing of all, Jesse,
Listen.
AOC aside, because I don't think she has the brains to quite pull it off.
No.
Mamdani does. He's very smart. And when he doesn't answer a question about Hamas,
Yes.
de-arming, demilitarizing, what he is saying is he is okay with Hamas strangling a 9-month child, Kafir Bibis. What he is saying is he's okay with Avinatan Or, who was put in a cage with 5 other
Yes.
hostages and handcuffed to the cage for 2 years. He is saying that is okay and that he is on the side of terrorists. I know that's hard to hear, but that is what he's saying. So AOC, she doesn't have the wit to do it. That is a very smart man, Zoran Mamdani. And I very much fear, should he take the mayor's race, he could go on to run for president, and that is a frightening prospect.
Everything she said about his refusal to denounce Hamas, his refusal to say they lay down their arms, his refusal to end the violent rhetoric like from the river to the sea, shows who he is. He's a very dangerous man with a slick smile on his face. If you live in New York City and you're Jewish and you don't vote, or you vote for Mamdani, you're voting for your own doom. I am not screwing around here. This man is a danger because he is a combination of failed policies that have resulted in enormous poverty and starvation, but also in the hatred of the Jewish state, in the defunding of the police, and he is a genuine danger. He has no life experience, no job experience, and should not become the mayor. And if New York lets this happen, they're going to be screwed. There you go. Yon yon, New York. You elect this guy, yon yon. Last hour of the Rob Carson Show is right ahead. Don't go anywhere.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
And by the grace of God, it is finally Friday, and what a Friday lineup we have for you today. Dinesh D'Souza is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. He's got a new movie about radical Islam around the world, and it's called Dragon's Prophecy. We're going to talk to him about that, and then I want to talk to him about all the times that he was he's been exonerated. Like, for instance, he did that movie 2,000 Mules that showed how the 2020 election was rigged and stolen. You can't say that. It's disinformation. How about, kiss my butt. I'm so done with that, so over it. Everybody knows that 2020 was a joke. And if you don't, and if you're still in denial, you just think you can yell loud enough that you can't, or just deny enough that you can shut us up because we can't speak on social media. Like, remember that? You couldn't say anything on social media. The day after the election in 2020, my Facebook page disappeared before I even did a post. And then for years, every time I said anything about the 2020 election, anything that doubted the 2020 election, got shut down. My Facebook page came back for a day, like a year and a half later, and then disappeared almost immediately. Ridiculous. So we'll talk to Dinesh D'Souza about that. Once again, we were right about everything. A couple of quick notes. My TV show is called Rob Carson's What in the World? It is on Sunday nights on Newsmax at 8:30 following the Michael Savage show. It is a half an hour comedy show. Donald Trump says it makes me the funniest guy on TV. We've added a couple new features to the show, including, and this is kind of ironic because I don't drink anymore, Carson's Wine Cellar, where we choose the two biggest whiners of the week, and then I give them a sour grapes rating. I know, it's a pretty good idea. Ted Duggar came up with that. He works on the show with me. He's a good guy. These guys, I got a couple people working with me that kind of keep me on the keep me focused, which is kind of hard to do because I've got a cocaine-addled hamster between my ears. I'm going to get to Donald Trump yesterday talking about talking with Putin on the phone and all of that in a second. So October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, a.k.a. Cyber Scaries Month. You know what the serious part of October? Being vulnerable to cyber criminals. I was online this morning, had another one telling me that your credit card information is needs to be updated. And it looks like because I got a lot of places that have my credit card information. Could be Amazon, could be whatever. And I'm looking at it and I go, this does not look at all familiar. And then I realize, it's bullcrap. It's somebody phishing, trying to get my information, trying to steal from me. WebRoot Total Protection can help you prevent this from happening. WebRoot Total Protection offers real-time antivirus protection against emerging threats like malware, ransomware, phishing, scams, etc. A firewall and network monitor. Web Threat Shield detects and blocks malicious websites is really good. Advanced dark web monitoring, credit and financial monitoring with rapid alerts, VPN for up to 5 or 10 devices. Select your connection from 80 locations in more than 65 countries, and it hides your IP address, personal data, and location from hackers. Do something about it. If maybe you got a traditional protection on your computer and you've still managed to be infected by things like this, maybe you need to get WebRoot and maybe you need to save some money. My name will get you 60% off. When you see how little it costs, you're going to go, no stinking way. Just go to webroot.com/Carson, webroot.com/Carson. Do it right now. Do it. Trust me. Right now. Just do it. webroot.com/Carson. Just click and then watch it pop up and you're going to go, shut up. No way that only costs them. I'm not kidding. Do it. You're doing it right now. You're going, no way. He actually did this. Oh my God. We're like connecting. Oh, this is really weird. Yeah, webroot.com/Carson for total protection for your computer. And if you're like me, I built a mega turbo computer, man. This thing's got 4 fans in it to keep it cool because I run a lot of heavy programs and it's everything. It means everything to me. to be able to, and when it goes down, the TV show goes down, the radio show goes down, everything goes down. It's not good. It's not good. Let me see. Oh, here's Donald Trump yesterday. He had a phone meeting with Putin. It sounds like they might be making a little bit of progress toward a peace deal with Ukraine.
You also posted about your call with President Putin today, and you spoke about the meeting in Hungary with him. Do you have a timeline or a date set for when?
I would say within 2 weeks or so. Pretty quick. Marco Rubio is going to be meeting with his counterpart, as you know, Lavrov, and they'll be meeting pretty soon. They're going to set up a time and a place very shortly. Maybe it's already set up. They've already spoken. And I thought it was a very good phone call. I thought very productive. But I'll be meeting with President Putin, and we'll make a determination. Tomorrow I'm meeting with President Zelensky, and I'll be telling him about the call. I mean, we have a problem. They don't get along too well, those two. And
that's true.
it's sometimes tough to have meetings, so we may do something where we're separate. But
I think it's going to happen. It's not. I thought it would happen a little bit sooner, but this one's been kind of a tough nut to crack, right? Been a little tough nut to crack. Here's Donald Trump talking about U.S. tomahawks and giving tomahawks to Ukraine. This is one of the puzzle pieces that he has going on here. He's doing a lot of different things. He's got India committed to not buying Russian oil. That's really going to affect Russia's economy majorly, and that will really impact their ability to fund the war. And their economy's in trouble anyway.
Did President Putin try to dissuade you from selling Tomahawk missiles?
Well, of course. What do you think he's going to say? Please sell Tomahawks?
No, but
Is he going to say, please sell those Tomahawks? I really appreciate it. I did actually say, would you mind if I gave a couple of thousand Tomahawks to your opposition? I did say that to him. I said it just that way.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
He really did like the idea. No, I said it that way. You have to be a little bit lighthearted sometimes, but no, he doesn't want Tomahawk is a vicious weapon.
It's a master class. I mean, he's just a master class in negotiation and diplomacy, and King's protesters are just such morons, honestly. Here's Donald Trump talking about Hamas. Hamas hasn't, and I'm actually grateful for it. I want Hamas to breach the agreement in the fashion that they're breaching the agreement. They have no trump card. They have no ability to strike out like they have, but they are still bedding down with stupid like the Democrat Party still doing after 2024. And I'm just hoping and praying that Hamas gives Israel and Donald Trump the permission it needs to wipe them from the face of the earth.
I'm looking at what's happening, and that wasn't the deal that was made, and we'll see what happens. It's calmed down. It's a tough neighborhood. We know that.
Yeah.
We have a commitment from them, and I assume they're going to honor that commitment. I hope they do. And I understand they brought back some additional bodies today.
Yeah.
It's a rough deal when you think of it.
Yeah.
Right? Very rough.
Yeah, because they murdered those people.
And we have our hostages back completely. We were very lucky with that. But it's a tough situation. They brought back bodies today, as you probably know. But they also said they're going to behave. We're going to find out if they behave. If they behave, good. If they don't behave, we'll take care of it.
There you go. Bomb the snot at him. Here he is talking about the Democrat Party. You know, we're in day number 17 or whatever, this idiotic shutdown. That is the Democrats' fault, by the way. Of course. Duh. Here is Donald Trump talking about the Democrats, what they want.
All we want to do is just extend. We don't want anything. We just want to extend, live with the deal that they had. They want to spend $1.5 trillion on illegal immigrants.
They're extorting us. That's what it is. They've always been able to do it because they've always had command and control of all the media. They've always had control of the narrative. They're trying to do the same old playbook, extorting you and me. This isn't their freaking money. This is our money. And we're sick and dang tired of this nonsense. And this is not working anymore. It's not going to work, even if they throw a big temper tantrum tomorrow.
And they want to destroy health care for everyone else, and it's crazy. It's crazy. People that are here illegally, they want to spend $1.5 trillion.
Yeah.
So we're just not going to do it. No, we have to take care of our health care. Now, we're doing that today, and we're doing it with, favored nations, the most favored nations. Your costs are going to be dropping greatly.
Yeah, what has Obamacare done for you? It didn't do a damned thing, did it? They promised you everything about Obamacare when they passed it in 2010. I remember the night they passed it. I was in Washington, D.C. I listened to the vote, and I said, God, they're going to pass this. Nancy Pelosi said, hey, we got to pass it to see what's in it. And then she returned to her perch as a gargoyle. And here what we got. We've got healthcare that's out of control, broken, still dependent on government subsidies. Premiums are higher than they've ever been. Donald Trump has done more to fix healthcare in the last 2 weeks than Obamacare ever dreamed of doing. By lowering the price of prescription drugs, some by 85%. And yesterday we find out in vitro fertilization treatments are going to drop dramatically. It has been so cost prohibitive. It has kept people from having children. It is remarkable. This is a man calling into C-SPAN yesterday. He is a person of color and also a Democrat, and he says he's done with the party.
I think I'm going to be leaving the Democrat Party.
Why would you stay?
This happens.
Why would you stay? Your life hasn't gotten any better under the Democrat Party.
This happens too often, where they're blaming the opposite party when they know they can do the right thing. They need to do the.
You know the walk away movement. They had 500,000 people left the Democrat Party, and then Facebook killed the group. They got rid of the group, all the stories, and most of those people were people of color.
Right thing and reopen this government instead of keeping it shut down like they're hijacking the American people. I've seen it before. We've seen them vote the right way when they're in power. So why the hell can't they vote the right way when they're not in power? So get this government back open, get the American people what they do.
Because they're a large criminal cartel.
Deserve. And this is basically a Schumer shutdown from what I've seen, from what I've been watching on C-SPAN, what they show and what they show the Democrats whining and crying and blaming. That's what I see.
Yeah, and the both parties, to some degree, have done nothing for 50 years to fix anything that's broken still now. Everything was broken then. Everything's broken now. VA, healthcare, infrastructure, Social Security, all broken. And what they've done is they've increased spending by 60% because of COVID. And what they did there was they looted the Treasury. They looted it for their friends, for their buddies, for their unions, for their NGOs, to the tune of trillions of dollars. I'm not screwing around here. They have. It's worse. It's worse than the Soviet Union, and the Soviet Union could have only dreamed to have $7 trillion a year to blow. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Here we go.
Here's some more history.
Ooh, I love it. Come on. Ace Frehley was 74 years old. They changed rock and roll. They created a Kiss Army. And, yeah, I was never a big Kiss fan. I remember my my mom had a console stereo, right? I don't know how she ended up getting a 45 that had the song "Shock Me" on it. It's kind of weird. She had Johnny Cash. I don't know who it was. It was a song called "Shock Me," and it was "Shock Me, make me feel better, shock me, put on your black leather." Kind of makes you wonder why Mom had that in the. Anyway. This is Lisa McClain giving the Democrats a little what fur on the budget.
Well, good morning, everybody. Here we are again. I'm going to be very clear.
Yes.
Chuck Schumer wants a dirty deal. Mm-hmm. I'll say it again. Chuck Schumer wants a dirty deal.
Dirty deals done dirt cheap.
Deal. One that caters to his radical base.
Yeah.
You know, the same crowd planning to protest at their I Hate America rally this weekend.
The No Brains protest.
And what is in this so-called deal?
Yeah, what?
Let's take a look at what's in Chuck Schumer's dirty deal.
A bunch of crap.
Let me spell it out. It adds $1.5 trillion to our net.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've heard enough. But yeah, it's ridiculous. Here's some good news. IRS guts half its workforce as the shutdown slips into the second week. So there you go. And it was about time that the IRS got a major downsizing. I mean, major downsizing. You know, we talked about how Twitter got rid of 80% of its employees. I said that would be a good starting point for the federal government. You can't say that. You live in Northern Virginia. You know what? Honestly, Washington, D.C., the damned curbs are paved with granite, for God's sake, okay? They got palaces here. They're spending $2 billion on the friggin' Treasury building, okay? They've lived high on the hog. The average household income in Washington, D.C. is $270,000. The next highest is like New York State. Honestly, it's about time. Sorry. I hate to tell you, I work in a B-word industry. It's called broadcasting. I have been out of work out of the last 30 years, 6 years, okay? So honestly, and then I had to kind of reinvent myself. Had to do this, had to do that, had to sell cars for a while. Then I had to learn how to be a podcaster. Then I had to learn, all of this. So there you go. You know, we're not here just to make sure that you have a comfortable retirement. You're here to do a job, and if we don't need this many people to do that job, sorry, that's the way it happens in the private industry. I know, I shouldn't say that. You live in the swamp. No, sorry. I've lived most of my life outside of the swamp. 12 years I worked in Washington, D.C., worked in the swamp, drove in from Montgomery County, which is a joke. Montgomery County is a joke. Drove up there, and I mean, the people in Montgomery County are, oh my God, so left of center. They have no idea. They never go across the river into Virginia, so they think everything's fine up there. I went to Frederick, Maryland. It's a lovely little town, lovely town. So stunted. The street traffic on the main drag in Frederick is pitiful. You come down here to King Street in Alexandria, and I'm not saying Alexandria, it's a high-tax, high-price area to live, but Virginia kind of gets it a little bit more, and it's freaking flourishing. It's amazing. You drive across the river, you're driving into Oz, for God's sake. But, that's just your Democrat Party. It's just your Democrat. Jimmy Kimmel has just become the most, he's crossed into just sheer douchebaggery. Here he is ripping on Trump supporters.
Antifa.
This isn't even funny. It's just vitriol.
It's just short for anti-fascist. It's not a club you can join. There are no membership dues, but they have matching signs. Okay, well, I guess we better round up these domestic terrorists, too.
They showed a picture of Trump supporters.
They look pretty matching to me.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to tell you this. Spread it around. There's no chaos in Portland.
Yeah, there is.
None. There is no chaos in Chicago. There was no chaos in Los Angeles.
Yes, there was.
They're pretending there's chaos as a pretense for a military takeover. But I'm open-minded. If there is chaos in these cities Trump calls hellholes, let's see it. and decide if something needs to be done.
Hey, when did that become late night television? When did that become following in Johnny Carson's footsteps? There's a brand new from Jim Gossett.
71%, that's what Kimmel's lost. Yeah. Since they put him back on the air. The morons at ABC were too blind to see that about Kimmel no one cares. 85% in a key demo. That is what Kimmel lost. Why do they keep him around to keep losing ground? Still air him no matter what the cost.
Stupid.
Sinclair must feel real stupid now. Next star still with regret. 71% wonder where they went. On Kimmel's failure you can bet.
Disney stock was $197 a share in March of 2021. Now it's $122 a share.
Disney must be in panic mode. They'd pull this show if they could. Why did they bring him back? This a funny hack. Suspension should have been for good.
Now, my show is called Rob Carson's One of the World. It is a political show. It's comedy, but you expect politics, and it obviously is a conservative show. It's Sunday nights on Newsmax, and you can check it out at 8:30. And we actually make politics funny. He brings politics into his show to make it unfunny, and he's a hack. Okay, so coming up, the Dinesh D'Souza. He's got a great new movie about radical Islam's tentacles surrounding the globe. That's coming up on this Friday. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. You know, when I was a kid and I would ride in a car, I would get so car sick and so nauseous, my parents would have to carry me into the house. Recently, I went on a sailboat in Mexico and I got so motion sick, I was sick all day. Then I found Relief Band. If you get nauseous, you absolutely must get Relief Band. Relief Band is the original anti-nausea wristband that quickly relieves and effectively prevents nausea and vomiting associated with motion sickness, anxiety, migraines, hangovers, morning sickness, chemotherapy, and much more. Relief Band is legitimately a band you wear on your wrist to give you relief from nausea, and you can change the intensity to make it stronger or weaker. It's 100% drug-free, non-drowsy, works quickly before or after symptoms start, and has 0 side effects. Relief Band has sold over 1 million devices and is backed by thousands of 4-star and above reviews, making it a trusted choice for fast-acting, natural nausea relief. Right now, we've got an exclusive offer just for Rob Carson Show listeners. If you go to reliefband.com, use promo code Carson, you'll receive 20% off plus free shipping. So head to reliefband.com, use promo code Carson for 20% off plus free shipping.
heard them on WCBM, because when we stand together, we
My
thrive
computer's
together.
being freezing.
From Annapolis to Gatesville.
And one result is that the far-right parties
This is
are in the government now
choice
there
for
for the
Maryland.
first time. To which liberals say, blaming it.
There you go. Then I got some audio from him.
Relentlessly slowing the spread of the stupid every day. It's the Rob Carson Show.
Then another sign appeared in heaven. An enormous red dragon. Revelation 12:3.
Once again, an armed attack in the Middle East, but this time it's different.
October 7th was the Devil's Holiday.
This is a brand new movie from Dinesh D'Souza. It is called Dragon's Prophecy, and we have him on the Newsmax Hotline. Welcome back to the show, my friend. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, thank you, and very excited about this new film that I think is in a way extremely timely,
Yes.
and yet it covers some issues that are also very timeless.
Well, Dinesh, I haven't spoken to you for a while. I know that you suffered greatly during the time of disinformation and misinformation. You had an incredible documentary called 2,000 Mules that the left did everything they could to destroy. It was an utter it was outrageous. What happened to us with this disinformation and misinformation campaign that was Soviet, was Stalinist in nature, was absolutely inexcusable. And I hope to hell that people are held accountable for it. I just want to say that because I haven't had a chance to say that to you, and I've been wanting to say that to you for a very long time.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, that film, in a way, blew the whistle on how the 2020 election was stolen, and the left just relentlessly went after it and sort of magnified what they tried to say. Oh, the film is wrong. The film is mistaken. The problem was that Republicans grew scared.
Yes.
The two topics that terrified mainstream Republicans were the stealing of the 2020 election and January 6th.
Yes.
And so we went through a dark period in which you couldn't even talk sense about those topics.
I know.
I hope the air has cleared a little bit more. I don't know if there will ever be a full-scale investigation of 2020.
Yes.
But I do take some consolation in the fact that we busted a massive fraud scheme in 2020,
Yes.
I think deterred the bad guys from attempting it in 24. They knew that people would be looking for it.
You know, Dinesh, you ushered in, through your sacrifice, I think, a new era of media. And I think the disinformation, misinformation helped to accelerate the decline of the traditional leftist media. And the unbelievable number of content producers out there from every side of the political perspective, and then also the rebirth of journalism with people like Matthew Schellenberger and Matt Taibbi, Michael Schellenberger and John Solomon. And I mean, can you believe the media environment for content producers now versus, say, 10 years ago?
Oh, it's a absolute transformation.
Yes.
And I love the fact that there are lots of people who aren't just doing the punditry, but they're doing the journalism.
Yes.
They're digging out facts. They're putting them for public scrutiny.
Yes.
It's wonderful, and there's a kind of a new atmosphere of openness to new ideas. And we have the concept of the citizen journalist, which
Yes.
we really didn't have a couple of decades ago.
It's remarkable. And hell, Dinesh, I reach millions of people in a studio, radio and television and podcast studio I built myself. It wasn't a spare bedroom, but now it is in a studio in Alexandria, Virginia, across the river from the swamp. You'll have to come and visit when you're in Washington. I'm telling you, you got to come over. We're gonna have a full-blown kind of late night set, and I want to talk to you for hours. When I get you in there, I'll lock the door and we'll just talk. Because I've just
Let's do it. We'll make it happen sometime.
I am. Let's talk about your movie, and obviously very timely with the prospect of peace, I guess, to some degree in the Middle East, the collapse of Hamas, the Donald Trump using, playing a 4D chess game to get this peace deal coming through here. Tell us about your film and how it relates to the times.
Yeah, the film is, it's got light and it's got darkness both. It begins by putting you right on the scene of October 7th. It's almost like you're on a motorbike with a GoPro, and you're going to be riding across the fences from Gaza into the kibbutzes of Israel to cause havoc. There's footage there that the world, the American public, has never seen before. And people have compared the opening 10 minutes of this film to like Saving Private Ryan, with the difference, of course, that this is real. Yes. You know, this is actual footage taken by the perpetrators themselves. Then the film goes into a kind of a profound examination of whether the battles that we've seen between Israel and Hamas actually resemble ancient battles described in the Bible between the Israelites and a group called the Philistines. By the way, Philistine, Palestine, that's the same name. That's the same word. Yes. But what Jonathan Cahn, who's the author of The Dragon's Prophecy, the book that is loosely what the film is based on, he draws this remarkable parallel between October 7th and the aftermath and things that happened in the Bible 3,000 years ago. And this is just an integration of the political with the biblical that I think is very fresh and very provocative. And then, in order to authenticate the Bible, I kind of take you into the archaeological pit, where you will see, you know, coins and stone inscriptions and clay seals. And basically, you have all these figures in the Bible that for hundreds, if not thousands of years, they were only in the Bible. There was no non-biblical proof that these people existed. I'm talking about people like the prophet Isaiah or Jeremiah or even King David. And so what you see is that through the archaeology of the last couple of decades, suddenly these figures are jumping out of the Bible and into the pages of history via the pathway of archaeology. So this is just an extremely fascinating way in which not only is the Bible being corroborated, but you can kind of see the presence of the Jews in their ancient homeland going back 2, 3, even 4,000 years.
Dinesh, I know in my heart that, and I'm raised in the Jesuit tradition. I'm a Catholic. I was raised to believe that science and philosophy and faith could exist on the same spectrum. And if you believe the one principle of the universe, that is without doubt, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. I think we are in the reaction to the evil that is swept over the earth. And I have no doubt about this. And I have no doubt that this started thousands of years ago, Dinesh. And do you feel that way?
Yes, I feel that way completely. And I will say even this, that, you know, in the 19th century and the 20th century, there was the higher kind of Bible criticism where you'd have all these armchair pundits at Oxford and Yale.
Yes.
And they would say, well, you know, we think that these biblical stories were written hundreds of years later and they were embellished and some of these people never existed. Well, all of this is being decimated by biblical archaeology. And not only that, it's almost as if the world has become more secular, that God is like speaking back, but now not in the thunderous language of Revelation or Genesis 1, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. God is speaking kind of in the soft language of science and archaeology, basically saying, here it is. Try to disprove this one.
You know, we've got to. Can you stay through the next break? I want to get more of the movie and get some more of your thoughts on this. Is that okay?
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. I love it. I love it. The Dragon's Prophecy. Go to thedragonsprophecyfilm.com. It is the latest effort from Dinesh D'Souza. More with Dinesh D'Souza after the break. This is the Rob Carson Show.
into one that's affordable for each and every New Yorker.
But, okay, I want to get to that, absolutely. But do you believe that Hamas should lay down their weapons and leave the leadership in Gaza?
I believe that any future here in New York City is one that we have to make sure that's affordable for all. And as it pertains to Israel and Palestine, that we have to ensure that there is peace. And that is the future that we have to fight for.
But you won't say that Hamas should lay down their arms and give up leadership in Gaza.
I don't really have opinions about the future of Hamas and Israel beyond.
Unbelievable. Terrifying man. He said more by not saying things. During that interview the other night, Zohran Mamdani, running for mayor of New York City, joining us on the Newsmax Hotline, Dinesh D'Souza. The new movie is called Dragon's Prophecy. What do you think about this very frightening anti-Semitic communist in New York City?
Well, I think that Mamdani represents, almost in a single human form, a very weird alliance that has developed over the past couple of decades between the cultural left in the West and these radical jihadi Muslims on the other side.
Yes.
You would not think that these two groups are even compatible. They have very different goals, and they don't inhabit each other's worlds very easily. But nevertheless, some people have called it the Red-Green Alliance, the red referring to the communism or the socialism, and the green referring to the Islamic side. Well, Mamdani kind of, in a charming and yet diabolical way, integrates these two elements. So I think he represents, in some ways, the frightening new face of what we're going to be dealing with. A lot more Mamdanis, I think, down the road, even than some of the other figures we've come to expect, like AOC or Ilhan Omar. Yes. Mamdani is more dangerous than either of those two.
It's a combination of the self-loathing liberal. And I'm not sure exactly what the predisposition is called, but when you fall in love with a person on death row, that's kind of what the left does. They hate themselves so much that they say they would like to be transgendered in Gaza, even though it would most assuredly mean their death. But they're so romantically involved in their heads with people like Zohran Mamdani and Hamas. It's bizarre.
The way I understand it is that the left looks at everyone as a kind of identity group.
Yes.
So the left thinks we have the blacks over here, the Latinos over there, the gays over there, the trans people over here, the feminists are over here. And guess what? We can have the Islamic jihadis in their own column. We're going to give them their own room, not realizing that those people are coming with a completely different agenda.
Of course.
But this is the intellectual framework of the left.
Well, it's the give peace a chance nonsense. You know, that was one of the dumbest songs ever made. Give peace a chance. Sorry, you may think it's great and everything, but all we are saying is give peace a chance. There are despots on the face of the earth. You can sing that song all you want, and they want you dead. They want to take your family and your property. It is utterly ridiculous. Wishing that peace will happen cannot happen in a world where people like Zohran Mamdani and radical Islam exist. That's just the way it is. Do you feel like, though, with the peace deal that Donald Trump and what he's done in the Middle East with bringing 7 Arab nations together, bombing Iran, neutering their ability to fund Hamas, I do believe that we have some amazing things happening there. And then you've got this kind of beginning of the seeds of rejection of radical Islam, very much so in Italy, coming to France and coming to England. Do you suppose that we're seeing a change here?
Well, I certainly hope so. You know, if you believe the Bible, then the issues in that part of the world, I mean the Middle East, will never be finally settled until the end of time.
Yes.
But this is not to say that you can't make measurable and even magnificent progress. And I think Trump has done some genius moves here. The debilitating of the Iran nuclear capacity is absolutely key to embolden all these other Muslim countries to come forward and be part of this peace deal. As long as Iran was pulling strings and exercising its evil machinations, this was really not possible. Now, I think we know that even though the first phase of this, I think, has gone off very well, the truth of it is Hamas is not going to change its spots. You know, they still remain committed to sort of death and destruction. There are obviously a whole generation of young people already indoctrinated. So the challenges ahead remain immense. But I do think that we can take a moment just to celebrate the achievement of Trump which, I'm old enough to have lived through the Nixon peace plan and the Carter plan and the Clinton plan. Many presidents have tried, and Trump has succeeded beyond any of them.
Well, Dinesh, I have trouble watching violence and things, and I have not been able to watch the uncensored, October the 7th. Your movie, Dragon's Prophecy, though, so many people are returning to church. I have returned to church since Charlie Kirk was martyred, and I notice you have group showings where you can get the movie for your congregation. I think it's enormously important, regardless of how difficult it is to watch, that everybody, Judeo-Christian, if you Jewish, Christian, whatever, that you see this. I think it's very, very important, Dinesh.
I'll tell you, I've seen really all the footage. The footage we show is enough to put you on the scene. It's not the most disturbing footage. I wouldn't show it to a 7-year-old.
Yes.
But I think for a high school student, for an adult, you would be just fine seeing it.
Yes.
And I think it would actually give you a really, experiential sense of what that was all really like. So, yes, the dragonsprophecyfilm.com, you mentioned the website, that's the place to stream it. That's the place to get the DVDs.
Yes.
And I think the film takes you to some dark places, but it doesn't leave you there. Precisely on the note of spiritual restoration that you talked about with Charlie Kirk.
Yes, and Dinesh, that you tied it into biblical history, and more than I have ever in my life. I have never been a Bible banger. I've never been a big Bible reader. But now I know it. I know it's true. I know it's true, Dinesh. And you have been through this, brother. You have been through the tribulations. You have been through tribulations more than most. And I do believe we're in a time of enlightenment. I am so grateful that you found the time to be on our show today, Dinesh.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You bet. TheDragonProphecyFilm.com, Dinesh D'Souza's latest project. Make sure to check that out. And if you want to do a group showing with your church or synagogue, I would encourage it. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. He's a hero, man. He took it in the shorts.
Hey guys,
from they killed his movie 2,000 Mules.
Not haunted houses or horror movies.
They killed it. They killed the movie. And I know people who censored the damn. Show me how to live, baby. Again, I'll tell you, this song came out, the Audio Slave album came out about the same time that Mel Gibson's movie, The Passion of the Christ, came out. And I remember when that happened. I flew into Omaha, Nebraska. I got off the plane to greet my sister who said, your brother died. And I just had this week. This week, I was auditioning at a radio station in Omaha, Nebraska, And I went to see that movie, The Passion, in a movie theater with a giant congregation of Catholics. And then that song is about his struggle. Chris Cornell, who ultimately killed himself, the lead singer of Audioslave and others. And about he was given life, and he's asking God, you gave me life, now show me how to live. Nail in my hand from my Creator, you gave me life. Now show me how to live. God's not going to show you how to live. God's going to give you some hints. But one thing God won't do is attack you. I blamed God for my suffering. God wasn't making me suffer. That was coming from a dark place to move me away from God. And we're all moving closer, right? We are, aren't we? Yeah. I want to mention something before I go. Birch Gold is a glorious sponsor of the show. They've been a faithful sponsor of the radio program. We appreciate them. Even through disinformation and misinformation, we appreciate them. And right now, when you buy gold, for every $5,000 invested in Birch Gold, you, in advance of Veterans Day, a free patriotic silver round that commemorates the Gadsden and American flags. This coin was worth $48 last week. It's worth $54 this week. That's how crazy ridiculous silver is growing right now. Plus, they'll send you this silver round honoring Veterans Day on qualifying purchases. Gold is growing at historic portions, and you need to have it in your portfolio. I mean, honestly, it's gone up almost 50% this year. So text my name, Rob, to 989898. Text Rob to 989898. You'll get information on it. And if you are eligible, you get some of these silver rounds. They're absolutely magnificent. Birch Gold, 989898. Text my name, Rob, to 989898. Time for me to go. Please watch my TV show Sunday night on Newsmax. It's called Rob Carson's What in the World? This weekend show, it's getting better and better and better. I promise you, you will laugh. It is a smart show. It makes points with comedy, which is what I've been doing my entire career, including when I worked for Rush Limbaugh, Tell It on Loan from God. Have a glorious weekend. God bless you, your families. Donald Trump is what he's doing for this country. And until Monday, do not catch the stupid. God.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news.